Hello my dear friends. Welcome to the channel. It's a beautiful day in the jungle. The sun is shining through the trees and our chubby orange cat Benny is chasing butterflies. He's so cute. A beautiful blue butterfly lands on his nose. Benny sneezes and the butterfly flies away. Oh no, not again, sighs Benny. Just then, Benny's friend, the bright green parrot Coco, flies down from a tree. What's wrong, Benny? She asks. I can't catch any butterflies today, laments Benny. Want to help me, Coco? Sure, Benny, says Coco. Let's go. They walk over to a tall tree where lots of butterflies have gathered. Wow, there's so many butterflies, says Benny. I'm gonna catch one for sure this time, he says confidently. Coco looks at all the butterflies and then at Benny. She shakes her head and flies up to a branch to get a better view. Benny closes his eyes, sticks out his tongue and tries to catch a butterfly, but he just ends up with a leaf stuck to his nose. Coco can't help but laugh. That was funny, Benny, she says, but you'll never catch a butterfly that way, she says. Well, what do I do? Asks Benny. You need a plan, says Coco. A plan, says Benny. He thinks. Suddenly, Benny gets an idea. He runs over to some bushes and hides. Coco flies over to him. What are you doing, Benny? She whispers. I'm making a plan, he says. Coco looks over to the tree with the butterflies and then back at Benny. She understands what he's trying to do and shakes her head. Are you sure that will work, Benny? She asks. I don't know, says Benny. But it's our only chance, he says. Benny comes out of the bushes and walks over to the butterflies. He sits down and starts to meow very loudly. The butterflies get scared and fly away. Benny meows even louder. Coco comes out of the bushes and dives down toward the ground. She swoops low, then swerves at the last moment to avoid hitting Benny. Benny looks up and sees Coco coming right for him. He quickly moves out of the way just in time to see Coco land on the tree with the butterflies. Got you, she says, grabbing a butterfly in her beak. Coco flies over to Benny. Here you go, Benny, she says, dropping the butterfly in front of him. Wow, thanks, Coco, says Benny. That was a great plan, he says. Suddenly, Benny has an even better idea. He takes the butterfly and runs over to a bush. He hides behind the bush and waits. Coco flies over to him. What are you doing, Benny? She asks. I'm gonna scare you and you can catch me, says Benny. Coco understands. She takes off and flies over to the tree with the butterflies. She swoops down and grabs another butterfly. Just then, Benny jumps out from behind the bush. Boo! He yells. Coco drops the butterfly and flies away. Benny looks up and sees Coco flying away with the butterfly in her mouth. No fair, he says. Coco flies back over to Benny. She drops the butterfly in front of him and says, Your turn. She takes off and flies over to a tree. Benny looks at the butterfly and then at the tree. He takes a deep breath and runs over to the tree. As he runs, he slips and slides down the tree. Help, he yells. Coco swoops down and grabs Benny in her beak. She flies over to a nearby bush and drops him off gently. Thanks, Coco, says Benny. Just then, both Benny and Coco hear a loud crash. They look over to see a big cake on the ground. It was the biggest cake they had ever seen. Oh my goodness, says Coco. Who wants some cake? Yells Benny. Me, yells Coco. They both run over to the cake and start to eat. This is the best cake I've ever tasted, says Coco. I agree, says Benny. The best, he says. They keep eating and eating, but the cake never seems to get smaller. Suddenly, Benny burps really loudly. Me, says Coco, pointing to Benny. You, says Benny, pointing to Coco. They both start laughing. It's so much fun to have a friend to share cake with, especially when it's a big, beautiful cake in the jungle. Now you want to watch another funny cartoon? Click here. Now you're watching Coco and Benny on their channel.